What if I told you that what you put in your child's stocking this Christmas could be more important than their next appointment with a specialist? Don't believe me? Well, hear me out. So I'm guessing you may be on a waiting list to see a child psychologist at CAMS, maybe an occupational therapist, maybe a paediatrician. How long have you been waiting already? Weeks? Months? And how much longer are you going to have to wait? Years maybe. And okay, say you're already in the system and you're seeing someone. Is that person going to be with you on Christmas Day, standing next to you as your child builds up for a meltdown? Christmas can be a really overwhelming time of year for any neurodivergent person, but particularly children. There's a sensory overwhelm, the lights and the noise, and then there is the change in routine. There is visiting relatives or having your house suddenly filled full of people. And for some children, the unusual and different food that you have at Christmas can be triggering. If your child finds Christmas difficult, you need an action plan. Now, I have a whole video on how to develop an action plan, and I will put a link to that at the end of this video. So if you watch to the end of this video, you can then go on to watch the one about the whole action plan. But today in this video, I want to specifically talk about toys, because having a few key toys on hand can actually make a really big difference at Christmas. So when I started my parenting journey, I was that typical middle class parent. I wanted the nice wooden educational toys, and sometimes my daughter played with them and sometimes she didn't. But either way, it made no difference to what our Christmas was like, which in most cases was kind of horrendous. So she is very sensory sensitive. So she does particularly find all the lights and the noise and the crowd so difficult at Christmas time. She also struggles with delayed gratification and finds that wait from the 1st of December to the Christmas Day really hard going. And then on Christmas Day itself, she can be super anxious because she doesn't know whether she's been naughty and nice and whether she's going to get her presents. Now, I don't do the naughty list or anything like that, but she hears it in society around her and it stokes her anxiety. So I realised I had to do Christmas differently. And one of the things that I learned from seeing an OT was that actually changing some of the toys I gave her at Christmas could make a world of difference. And in fact, this was actually the biggest lesson that I got from an OT. And I want to now share with you what I learned so that you can apply them. So if you are sitting on that waiting list and feeling like it's going to be forever until I get to see someone, you've got some stuff that you can get going with now. So I actually spoke to Sophie about what she wanted, that's my daughter, what she wanted for Christmas this year. And I said, okay, you can have the Barbies and whatever you want, but I want you to help me choose some toys that are going to help with your stress and anxiety this Christmas. And so we sat down together and we had a talk about it, and we talked about what's helped her in the past and what could help her now. And she's picked 3 toys that she thinks will help her and would like to recommend to you and your child. So before I get onto the toys, I just want to make an important point here. These toys are not going to help when your child is in the middle of a meltdown. When your child is having a meltdown, there's actually not a lot you can do in that moment other than be present and sit with them till it's over. And I know that's hard to hear because you want a magic wand, but there just isn't one. What you can do, however, is try and prevent that build-up that leads to the meltdown. So having some strategies in place, so at key moments when you know that they're going to be stressed, to help calm their nervous system throughout the day, that's going to really help. I would also recommend that you combine these toys with something like tapping. Now, I love tapping. It's a type of meditation and you can do it in as little as 10 minutes, and it has radical results. So it combines the Eastern tradition of acupuncture with Western psychotherapy. So you tap on various parts of your body and recite statements. Now I know this sounds a little bit weird, but I've got lots of resources that explain it better, and I'm going to put a link in the description so that you can learn more about tapping. And I've got a guided tapping meditation video that I can send you, and I've also just done one for children as well. So I would advise a combination of things, and tapping is one of them. But now we're going to get onto the toys that might help as well. So we're going to start off with squishy cubes. So these are squishy cubes. So if anyone's familiar with things like Nidos, they're very similar. But the difference with these, I mean, I just actually think the texture's nicer than Nidos. I'm quite a tactile person, so I like squishy things, and you can really stretch them. And they kind of pop back into shape, but quite slowly. So one of the things that I learned from ROT is it's not just the toys you buy, but the way you play with them. And playing with your child is important as well, rather than just giving it to them and walking off. So one way that I play with my daughter with these is we use them when we're doing our breath work. So breath work is an important part of our calming routine every day, but sometimes she struggles with it because she can't slow herself down too much. So she breathes too fast, and she actually pants sometimes as well when she's getting super stressed. So what I do is I say, let's use this to help us with our breathing. So I say, squeeze it to breathe in and release to let out. Now, because they pop back into shape, but they take quite a while to pop back into shape, it's a really good way of encouraging them to let out that long exhale. And this is the thing that helps to release the stress and overexcitement from the body. So these are squishy cubes. Oh, and I should also say they're nice and sparkly, so they've got a nice visual stim in them as well. So you can buy these online. They're not very expensive. I think we got 4 for under £10. That's a nice little stocking filler. Now the next one that we've got is essential oils. So essential oil has become a standard part of our bedtime routine, and I encourage my daughter to put a little bit on her favourite cuddly or put a little bit on her pillow before she goes to sleep. Now her favourite is vanilla, bergamot and lavender, and it smells amazing. She has unfortunately taken that to school with her today because she says it helps her in the classroom when she's feeling anxious and missing me. And this was actually her idea, so there's a little tip for you if your child suffers from has attachment difficulties or suffers from separation anxiety. She says she likes to put a little bit on her wrist, and when she's missing me she gives it a smell and it reminds her of me. So the one I've got here is eucalyptus, which can also be good for releasing stress. It can also be good if you're a bit under responsive, so you're feeling a bit down and lacking energy, maybe a little bit on the depressed side. Eucalyptus can be a good one for boosting your mood and boosting your energy, and it has lots of physical health benefits as well, such as clearing your sinuses and helping with aching joints and things like that. Another oil that we've used in the past is vetiver oil, and that has had some quite interesting results in some small studies with children with ADHD. It's been shown to calm them. So what I used to do with the vetiver oil was I had a little air diffuser and I put a few drops in that, and it released it into the air at bedtime. So maybe on Christmas Eve when they're just getting super excited about the next day, or maybe at the end of Christmas Day when they're really worked up, you could put a few drops of vetiver oil in an air diffuser in their bedroom before they go to sleep. So my final recommended toy are blow pens. Now this has come directly from the ROT. She recommended these. Now blow pens are pens, but instead of using them in your hand, you use them in your mouth. So you have the pen end at this end, and then you put this bit in your mouth and you blow. So just like this. And as you can see, the ink comes out on the paper. Now this kit actually came with some stencils, so you can actually blow over the stencils and have a fun craft activity, but at the same time you're doing that unintentional breath work, which is releasing stress from the body, it's calming the nervous system and generally helping them to just reduce all that stress. So these are our suggestions for stocking fillers for Christmas that will help calm anxiety, reduce overwhelm and deal with social anxiety. As I said, I would combine these with other things, including the tapping, and I will put a link to those tapping resources in the description. In the meantime, go do that extra bit of Christmas shopping and get yourself some sensory toys for a happier, calmer family Christmas. Choosing the right toys at Christmas can make a world of difference, but they are only one tool at your disposal. If you want help devising a whole action plan for how to have a happier, calmer Christmas, then check out this video here. It's full of hints and tips on how to have a successful Christmas with a neurodivergent child.